The Northman. The Northman is directed by indie movie extraordinaire Robert Eggers and stars Alexander Skarsgard as Amleth. Amleth is a child prince whose father is murdered right in front of him at a very young age. His mother is then kidnapped, prompting him to escape his village. From that day, he swears to avenge his father, save his mother, and destroy everything that gets in his way. And we have our movie. Now, The Northman at its core is very simple in premise and superb in execution. Robert Eggers does a phenomenal job in utilizing his creativity to not only get your attention early on, but keep it throughout the movie. The music, while not being mainstream and really strange at most points, does a great job in going for the Nordic tone that this film is striving toward. Additionally, the strong dialogue and disturbing visuals reinforce the dark nature that these characters are facing in order to survive or thrive. And to top it off, the cast bolsters the film to create a very strong experience. And the plot, although it's very strong, very excellent, it gives off the feeling that's sort of meandering away from its trajectory. And when you put all those pieces together, I can use 5 words to describe this film: creative, Norse, intense, captivating, and protracted. Let's start off with the first one being the creative piece. The Northman utilizes unconventional and creative methods to create a very thrilling experience. Intentional use of disturbing sounds and imagery, slow panning camera shots, and captivating musical numbers will likely provide you with an experience that you'd never expect in your wildest dreams. And that's the beauty of this film. It's going to provide you with an experience that you likely won't see for the rest of 2022 and perhaps even beyond. This is just one example, but the slow panning shots of characters dressed in this Nordic clothing that's very tribal-like, performing these songs in the dead of night and darkness. It's just so captivating, jarring, and even scary at some points. It's just one of the abundant examples that provide you with a little bit of shock value that keeps your attention and also keeps you on your toes. And these moments are consistently provided, each with a consistent amount of grotesqueness. Now on to the second word, which is Norse. The entire film strongly adheres to the Nordic mythology that it's trying to portray. Nordic rituals, songs, dress, combat, and otherwise are all strongly at the forefront of the entire movie. And you get to see the best and most often the worst aspects of that way of life. But it's important because it provides a sense of the gravity and brutalities that our protagonists are facing on their quest for vengeance. Which brings me to my third word, which is intense. The Northman does just that. It brings a really strong level of intensity from beginning to end. With the exception of the first 5 minutes of the film, the movie brings a certain amount of uncertainty and intenseness to each scene. Each of these scenes has really high stakes and really keeps you guessing as to what's going to go down next. Whether you're faced with ritualistic practices, just mild conversations between characters, or battle scenes, you just never quite know what's going to come out of it. You're either going to get the most disturbing imagery you've seen all movie long, or you're going to get a meaningful development to the plot between our protagonists and their schemes. Regardless, just about everything in this movie is high stakes with very little room for downtime. Which leads me to my fourth word, which is captivating. When you combine the creativity of the film, the intense nature throughout its runtime, and creative measures from start to finish, you wind up with this experience that is deeply, deeply captivating. The movie from start to finish pulls out all the stops to keep your attention consistently. Without going too far overboard to the point of disbelief, The Northman provides you with these unique experiences that you've likely never seen before. It gives a sense of novelty that consistently holds your attention and disbelief to the point where you can't help but be entertained. Which leads me into my fifth and final word, which is protracted. This being both a pro and a con of the film, you could consider the plot of this movie to be protracted, meaning it kind of likes to dance around what it's actually going for a little. So The Northman is a movie with a very clear trajectory. It's a very simple plot. You know where it's going to lead. Having said that, once the movie makes its intentions clear, it has a tendency to kind of meander on that trajectory a little bit. Rather than going straight for the throat, figuratively speaking, of course, the movie sort of takes its time methodically to play out. Which on one hand, it's great because it consistently bolsters the intelligence of our protagonists and their overall schemes, and shows just how capable they are of wreaking havoc on their enemies. But on the other hand, it can make you kind of antsy because you're dying to know how the fate of our protagonist is going to play out. It's got a balance that's struck pretty well throughout the movie, but it's got more of a tendency to meander a little bit more. And that creates an experience that does feel a little long-winded at some points. But the overall story doesn't suffer much because of it, as it's ludicrously entertaining, smart, and clever, but the overall experience is a little bit worse off for it. Friends, in the end, I'd give The Northman an 8 out of 10. It's worthy to see twice in theaters. Friends, have you seen The Northman? If so, what'd you think of it? You know where the comment section is. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching another Bankrupt Hippo movie review. If you like this, click right here if you'd like to see more. I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.